Hello dear students. Today we are going to be discuss a new video. In this video we'll discuss about the capital budgeting. Capital budgeting process is very important for the organization's new ventures, new investments as well as new products. We need to know that the money what we are going to be invest in that project or product will give you a good return. This is a very interesting topic. Let's go with the topic to understand in a better way. Capital budgeting. Key points what we will discuss under this chapter: meaning of capital budgeting, definition of capital budgeting, decision making criteria in capital budgeting. Also we'll discuss methods of capital budgeting. As you know that there are many methods for capital budgeting, but in this video we are going to be focused on payback period and discounted payback period, net present value, profitability index, and internal rate of return. Meaning of capital budgeting. Capital budgeting is a planning process used to determine whether an organization's long-term investments such as new machinery, replacement of machinery, new plants, new products, and research and development projects are worth the funding of cash through the company's capitalization structure. As you know that capitalization structure is merged between the shares and debt capital. Let's go for the definition of capital budgeting. Capital budgeting is a method of analyzing and comparing substantial future investment and expenditure to determine which is most worthwhile. Each project is capitalized by its potential future return, so the company's management can choose the best investment among the alternatives. For example, suppose our company is looking to start the new project. In this regard, we are looking for a machine. So we must decide whether to purchase a new machine for $500. How do we decide? Means the question is arising if we are going for new investment. So what the decision criteria? Let's go for the decision criteria. The first question what we have to be asked that will the machine be profitable? It means will inform that machine or install that machinery, this machinery will give us profit or no. The second question will arise that will our company will earn a high rate of return on investment. It means if we are going to be invest some amount, that amount will give the better return in the market, because if market return is open for us, so why we are going to establish our own project? We can invest our money in the market and get the return or benefit from the market. So these are two important questions. We'll try to search their answers in a further. Let's go for the decision making criteria in capital budgeting. So here the meaning of criteria: how do we decide if capital investment project should be accepted or rejected? The idea analyze the comparing method should be: number one, include all cash flows that arise during the life of project. Number two, consider the time value of money. As time value of money we already discussed, and you are having full information. My 6 videos in 6 parts are available on time value of money. For further any understanding, you can go through that video. You will get more information. Now the third is there, incorporate the required rate of return on the project. So when we are considering that, we have to go for the methods of capital budgeting. There are many methods of capital budgeting to help the companies to determine which project or projects should be accepted. Most of the companies are using the following, especially payback period and discount payback period, net present value, profitability index, and so on. This video will discuss these 3 methods. We'll focus on payback period first. What is payback period, or what do you mean by payback period? Payback period is the time in which the initial cash outflow of an investment is expected to be recovered through the cash inflow generated by the investment. It is one of the simplest method to evaluate the capital budgeting. Hope you understand that. It means if you are going to be buy any machinery and you are going to be spend some money on it, like suppose $10,000 you are going to be invest. So you need to know that when this 10,000 will come back to you. So it means when your project cost should be recovered and how long we can get more money from that project or that machinery. That would be your profit. This is the one. So payback period formula is required to analyze the payback period. Let's go with the formula. The formula to calculate the payback period of an investment depend on whether the periodic cash inflow from the projects are even or uneven. The meaning of even means regularly you are consistently you are getting a same amount in a further years, or you are going to be make the amounts or what you are going to be receive, it is changing time to time. So let's start. If the cash flow or cash inflow are even, such as for investment in annuities, the formula to calculate payback period is equal to initial investment divided by annual cash flow. Means every year how much in cash inflow you are going to be get against your investment. Suppose you are investing $500 in a project for 8 years and cash inflow evenly is $100 per year. So what would be the payback period? We can say that if every year you will get 100, so in 5 years you will recover your investment, means 500. So that's mean, so payback period is 5 years. Let's understand through the graphical presentation. It is here. So first year you invested $500, means it is a 0 year. After 1 year you received 100. After 2 years you receive 100 again, so it is become 200. Third year you received again 100. It is become 300. Fourth year as well as in for fifth year. So once fifth year you received 100 amount, that is become 500. So it means your payback period means the project will be return the money to you in 5 years. So this is the payback period. So let's understand with another example. Suppose a company ABC is planning to undertake a project requiring initial investment of $105 million. The project is expected to generate $25 million per year in net cash flow for next 7 years. Calculate the payback period. Let us go for the formula to calculate. The solution is payback period is equal to initial investment divided by annual cash flow, as you know. So initial investment in this project we are having 105 million divided by 25 million each year. So it means your payback period is 4.2 years. So now we will go for uneven situation. Let's try to understand. When cash inflow are uneven, we need to calculate the cumulative net cash flow for each period and then use the following formula. Here payback period is equal to A plus B divided by C, where we can say that A is the last period number with a negative cumulative cash flow. B, the absolute value, that is value without negative sign, or cumulative net cash flow at the end of the period A, and C, the total cash flow or cash inflow during the period following period as A. So let's go for an example to understand in a better way, as I am always bringing the examples for a better understanding. So let's go with the below example. Suppose company ABC is planning to start another project requiring initial investment $50 million, and its expected cash inflows are year 1 $10 million, year 2 $13 million, year 3 $16 million, year 4 $19 million, and year 5 $22 million. Calculate the payback period of the project. So let's go with the solution. Here the solution is coming in a table. So in this table we are going to be discuss about number of years and cash flows in millions. In cash flows we'll discuss two important things. First we'll discuss about the annual cash flow, and then secondly we will discuss about the cumulative cash flow. So let us, as you know that it is mentioned here, we are having cash outflow. That cash outflow is 50 million. So, and of next 5 years you are going to be receive cash. So that is a cash inflow. So up to here you will get the cash inflow. In cash inflow you are having 10 million at 1 year. Second year you will get 13 million. Third year 16, and then fourth year 19, and fifth year 22 million. So we need to know that when we are going to be recover our money. So we are going in a cumulative reduction way or deduction way our investment. So as you know that we are having the further first investment 50 million we invested at zero level. After 1 year when we received 10 years, so we will reduce 10 year from 50, so it is become 40 million. Then again 40 million we received 13 million in the next year, we will deduct and it will be become 27 million, and then 27 million we will reduce 16 million, it is become 11 million. After 11 million our fourth year income is 19 million. Once we are going to be reduced 19 million, we are coming in a positive value, that is 8 million. So now here we are having exceed our investment. So just we have to be know that our payback period is between 3 to 4th year. It means after 3 years we are going to be recover our payback period, but before 4th year, because in 4th year we are coming to earn the money. So let's go with the formula to understand what the exact value we are going to be calculate. As you know that payback period is equal to A plus B divided by C. What is the A? The initial year when you are going for a negative value. As mentioned in the formula, so in third year you are having last negative value. After that the value is coming or changing in a positive value. So third year is A plus B. B means when we are having the last negative value, that is 11 million, and whatever the next coming value is putting you in break-even point, that is 19 million. So here what we are going to be use that this is the A, we are using A here, and then the value of B is become 11, and then the value of C is become 19 million. So this value will put in a formula and we'll get our exact value of payback period. So now we get to know that 3.058. Now we are just rounding the values. It is coming that our payback period is 3.6 years. This is our payback period. The question is coming in our mind, what is the good payback period? It means which period is good for us. So the question is that what is the good payback period on an investment? Let us try to answer it. The shortest payback period is generally considered to be the most acceptable. This main rule to follow when a company is deciding between the two or more projects or investments. So it means if we are going to be compare the project, we have to be understand that which project is giving us less payback period. So if we are comparing 2-3 projects and we are finding that the one project is giving us the less payback period, so we will follow that or we will accept that project. So the reason being, the longer the money is tied up, the less opportunity there is to invest in elsewhere. So now we'll discuss what are the drawbacks of payback period. Firm cutoff are subjective. It means when we are talking about that whatever period is less period we will accept. But we are not talking about that how long the project will give the profit after that. So that is also important. So we are talking about that this is a subjective way. Means how quickly we will get our investment back. This is the subjective. The second thing is there, does not consider the time value of money. Payback period is not considering about the time value of money, but time value of money is a very important factor, as you know that $1 today is not equal to $1 after a year. Different reasons are there. For more understanding, just go and watch my videos for time value of money. Does not consider any required rate of return. Here we are not talking about what return we are going to be get in our investment. We are just considering about the period. So this is another issue. That's why we are telling that payback periods having some drawbacks. Does not consider all the project's cash flows. So it means how long we are going to be get the cash. They are not considering in a payback periods. Now after completing a payback period, that is also known as simple payback period, now we are going for a discount payback period. What is the discount? Before starting, just I will give you a brief introduction. Like you know that when we are getting in time value of money, when we are getting $1 today or $1 after 1 year, both are not equal. Why? As you know that the value is devalued after 1 year, or we can say that the price of products are increasing. So that's why we cannot be able to purchase with the same money next year the same product. So this is due to the discounted, and this discount factor we already discussed in our time value of money, especially in second video we discuss about the present value. Present value is reflecting the discounted payback period. Let us examine again. Discounted payback period is a distinction of payback period which use discounted cash flow. As you know that one of the major disadvantage of simple payback period is that it's ignored the time value of money. To counter this limitation, discounted payback period was developed, and it accounts for the time value of money by discounting the cash inflows for the project for each period at the suitable discount rate. So it means now the problem was there in the simple method. We are not considering time value of money. Now we are considering with the discount. So in discount payback period must calculate the present value of each cash flow. The discounted cash flow or cash inflow for each period is then calculated by using below formula. It means first we have to be calculate the present value or discounted value every year, not the value what we are receiving, and after that we will use the formula. First, how to calculate the discounted cash flow? As you know that actual cash inflow multiplied by 1 divided by 1 plus I power n. 1 upon 1 plus I power n, you are very much aware this is a present value formula, and we are multiplying the value, we put C. Here we are putting direct value, that actual cash flow. It means what we are going to be received. So where I discounted rate, you are very much aware, and the period of which the cash flow relates. Note, important fact. The rest of the procedure is like the calculation of simple payback period. It means when we are going to be calculate payback period, we will use the same formula, especially A plus B divided by C. Let's more understand through the example. Example, an initial investment of $2 million is expected to generate $600,000 per year for 6 years. Calculate the discounted payback period of the investment if the discount rate is 11%. So let us go for the solution. Again, the table is here to consider in a better way. As you know that we have a years. Here the first year is a 0 period. In 0 period your investment is 2 million, and the same, as you know that present value factor at 0 year is always 1. So once you will multiply 200 million with 1, it is becomes 2 million multiplied by 1, it is become 2 million. So your investment is 2 million. It is also your present value to invest, and as a cumulative value we'll discuss later on. So these last two tables we'll discuss as we discussed the previous also. So first we have to be convert our cash inflows. Here we are having 6 cash inflows. It is mentioned, like suppose first year you are going to be received 600, second year 600, third year 600, fourth year, fifth year, sixth year. But here we cannot be use NOT formula due to present value, because present value is going to be change the receiving value. So let us put the value, present value factor 1 upon 1 plus I power 1. So first year power 1, then it will become 0.9009. 600,000 multiplied with 909, it is become 540,541. Same as next year 600 is multiplying with the second year value, it is 0.8116. Then the value will be converted in 486,973 and so on. So once we will get the value, we have to be do the another thing is there. This value we are going for cumulative. It means when we are going to be recover our 2 million. So first we are having 2 million what we invested, and now we received 540,541. So this is we received. Now the balance amount is required to recover, that is a 1,783,459. Same as next year we received money and now the balance amount. Third year we received the money, now the amount is still negative. Then fourth year we received money, still amount is negative. Fifth year we received the money, still amount is negative. And sixth year when we receive the money, now amount is not negative, it is change, it is positive. So it means our payback period would be between 5 to 6 years. So let us calculate the exact payback period with the formula as we discussed. Payback period is equal to A plus B divided by C. So we'll continue the payback period formula. As I already explained to you, A plus B divided by C. Let's put the value. A is 5 year plus the value of B. It means before negative value it was 106,462 divided by the positive value is 327,85. Once you will divide, you will get the value 5 plus 0.33. That is a round up value because the value will become in continuation 0.3333. We are using two values after decimal point. You can use 3 as well. So now the approx value of payback period is 5.33 years. So we can calculate in uneven value also a discounted value with the present value factor. Hope you understand. This is very interesting to calculate your investment. Normally we are looking to invest, or we are thinking to ourselves as an entrepreneur. So we need to calculate this capital investment. It will be very helpful for your investment in the projects. So after payback period, we'll start net present value. This is another important method for capital budgeting to know that our investment have a profitable or not. So it will be very important, and normally we are using net present value, or all organizations they are not using, or they are not evaluating capital through the one method. They are using multiple methods. So this is the most common method what the all companies are using when they are going for capital investment. Net present value, it is also known as NPV of a project, represent the change in the company's net worth, or you know that what is known as equity, means owner's investment. The formula what we are using to calculate NPV or net present value is equal to total present value of the annual net cash flows. It means here we will calculate the total present value and then we'll subtract or minus the initial outlays or outflows. It means whatever the minimum amount what we invested at the time of purchase, we will deduct from them. If the value is positive, let's continue decision rule. If NPV is positive, we will accept the project. If NPV is negative, definitely we will reject the project. So this is the decision criteria when we will apply the rule of net present value. So let's understand with the example. First, we will consider the even net cash flow. As I told you that even and uneven both will discuss here as well as we discuss in a payback. Suppose ABC company is considering a capital investment that is $250,000 and provide annual cash flow of $100,000 for 5 years. They are looking for your advice or suggestions whether to accept or reject this proposal or project. If the firm's required rate of return is 15%. So if consider in your mind that they need 15% required rate of return in this condition, this project is good for them or not. So let us examine this. So we'll go for the solution. As we know, NPV is equal to total present value of annual net cash flow minus initial investment. Initial investment, we know that we need to invest $250,000. Now we need to calculate the present value of our cash flows. What cash flows we are receiving? So here we know that the formula what we are using to calculate the present value, same, future cash flow or cash inflow multiplied by 1 divided by I power n. Here we can use annuity formula directly because every year we are having $100,000 investments. So let us put the value here. 100,000 we are receiving for 5 years. It means it is become 500,000. So present value is equal to 500,000 multiplied by 1 upon 1 plus 0.15 power 5 means 15% at 5 years. So the value, present value is 335,216 round up value or approx value. This value we'll put in net present value and we'll get to know that our project is positive or negative. So NPV is equal to, as you know, that total present value what we are receiving during the project life or product life minus cash inflow means cash outflow what we invested. So here we invested 250,000 and our receivings from the project means discounted receiving is 335,216. So once we deducted the value, we get the positive value 85,216. It means, so now we will consider the uneven net cash flow. Example, an initial investment of $8,320,000 on machinery is expected to generate net cash flows as below. This is a four-year in return. The first year will receive $3,411,000. Second year will receive $4,070,000. Third year will receive $5,824,000 and fourth year will receive $2,065,000. In this condition means at the end of the fourth year the machinery will be sold for $900,000. It means the machinery have still life and you don't want to continue that product. When you will sell that old machine or used machine, you will get more money, that is around 900,000. Calculate the net present value of the investment if the discount rate is 18%. Round up your answer to the nearest 1,000 value. So whatever answer will become, it is question is dictating us to round up the value. So let us go for the solution. First, we will calculate the present value factor for all 4 years. We'll use the simple present value formula as you are very much habitual, and now we will just go to know the approx value. So first year round up value is 8475, second year 0.7182, third year 6086, and fourth year the value is 0.5158. So this is the approx value. It means this is a round up value. We are not going for, because when you are going to be divide this value you may get continuous numbers. So we just restricted the maximum up to the 4 digit. Let's apply these values in our problem. We can get these tables through the present value factor table as well. So now the rest will use the same table as we discussed before. Now we are having years as we discussed in the previous also. Year, here we are mentioning that 1 to 4, this is the first year, second year, third year and fourth year value. The net cash flow what you are receiving, it is as per the amount is mentioned here. First year you will receive 300 3,411,000, second year 4,070,000, 5,824,000, and fourth year 2,065,000. It is mentioned in the question. So we just brought salvage value, means replacement of the old machine value. You are extra getting in fourth year 900,000. This is an important thing. So it means how much total cash you are receiving. First year you are going to be receive the amount that is 3,411,000, second year the same, third year the same, but fourth year this is a plus between both. So you are going to be received 2,965,000. Let's multiply the value with the present value as we showed in a previous slide how to calculate. We'll multiply value, we will get the present value amount. So the present value what we received after multiplying, we get to know that the value is present value 2,890,000 will receive after first year, then 2,923,000 will receive in the second year, and then 3,544,670 will receive in third year, and then 1,529,310 will receive in a fourth year. So total, let's make a sum. It means we will add this all values. This is a plus, this is a plus, and this is also plus. We will add this value. The all value should be come here. This mention 10,888,000, round up value in 1,000. As you know that our initial investment in this project was 8,320,000. It means we are having 2,568,000 positive value. As we say that NPV positive, we will accept the project. So the result is accept the project. So we will accept this project under this condition. Hope you understand. Let's carry on. So after understanding the payback period as well as net present value, even and uneven, both cash flows. Now we have to go for the profitability index. It is also known as PI. The profitability index is a measure of projects or investments alternatives. The PI is calculated by dividing the present value of future expected cash flows by the initial investment amount in the project. Profitability index formula is present value of future cash flows divided by initial investment in the project. If you see that this is a just very simple formula is there, present value formula, the same present value, future cash, whatever total we are receiving, we minus initial investment. Now here we divided with the initial investment. Then what is the decision criteria? The decision criteria or decision rule is that if PI is greater than or equal to 1, we'll accept the project. If less than, definitely we will reject the project. So in this situation, let's go to understand the previous example, what we understand through the net present value, because same thing need to calculate in the same way, just only we will implement in the different formula. So let's analyze the example as present value. Example number 1, you remember that present value of future cash flows, after calculating the present value, it was came 335,216, and our initial investment was 250,000. So let's put the value in the formula given by profitability index. The formula is present value of future cash flow divided by initial investment in the project. And now we know that the present value is 335,260 divided by 250. So the amount is coming, the value is coming 1.34. It means more than 1. Once the value is more than 1, definitely we will accept the project. If you remember that through the NPV also we got positive NPV and we accepted the project here also. So whenever you are going for a multiple analysis, you will get the same results. It is giving you the direct introduction that you are having a good capital budgeting or investment. So as per the decision rule, we accept. Now this is another important method to understand the capital budgeting. Internal rate of return. It is very famous rule with the name of IRR. Internal rate of return is the discount rate at which the net present value of an investment is zero. It is also known as the discounted cash flow techniques, which means that it integrates the time value of money and the minimum required rate of return. That minimum required rate of return is known as here the hurdle rate, means when we will going to be cross the hurdle rate. This is the important why IRR important, because they are not considering only time value of money, they are considering about the required rate of return as well. Decision rule: a project should only be accepted if its IRR is not less than the hurdle rate. It means the minimum required rate of return should be achieved. Whatever the minimum we need to get that amount. The second, the minimum required rate of return is based upon the company's cost of capital, means weighted average cost of capital. After few days, definitely I will be giving you the weighted average cost of capital video. Then you can understand in a better way about the discount cash flow. In that video, I will give you for more understanding about the discount cash flow. That's why I didn't bring here the method of discount cash flow. So the reason is very simple. When we are going to be discuss about the weighted average cost of capital, and that video will discuss it. So just wait and watch. You will get soon the video of weighted average cost of capital and you will understand more. Be with me. So when comparing two or more mutually exclusive projects, we are using IRR. So the project having highest value of IRR should be accepted. So the decision rule is that those are having the highest value of IRR will accept. But we have to be calculate the IRR till we get to know that the net present value should become zero. So let's continue. So let's start the IRR calculation. Before going to be calculation, we need to understand some more points. Here, there is no direct algebraic expression in which we might plug some number and get the IRR. It means we don't have a fixed formula for calculating IRR. Like previously we got in net present value, payback period, even though profitability index, we just put the value, we get the result, but we don't have any formula in IRR. So what we are doing, IRR is most commonly calculated through the hit and trial method. It means we are just understanding how we can get, and this hit and trial with the linear interpolation formula or spreadsheet and financial calculator. We can use anything to identify the IRR or calculate the IRR. Since IRR is defined as a discount rate at which NPV is equal to 0, we can write that NPV is equal to 0, or we can say that IRR is showing that small r is equal to present value of future cash flow minus initial investment must be 0. In net present value, we can use the same two equations and we put positive value, but here the value should become 0. Once the value will become 0, we said that this is the minimum IRR we require. So let's go with another example to understand in a better way. Find the IRR of an investment having initial cash outflow of $213,000. The cash inflows are: year 1, $65,200, year 2, $96,000, year 3, $73,100, and year 4, $55,400 respectively. Assume that R is 10%. If we are assuming R is 10%, now we have to be calculate the net present value and try to understand the value will come 0. So calculate NPV as above discount method. Here I'm not going to be calculate NPV again and again, just I will give the solution. You can put the values, calculate NPV, and you will get the same value. I will explain that how the IRR work. This is the most important to understand. NPV, when we'll put 10%, means once you will put the value 1 upon 1.10 power 1. Understand? So this is 10% means power 1. If you are going to be calculate for 4 year, power 4. So the answer is coming $18,372. It means this is coming net present value. It means net present value is not 0, and we need net present value is 0. So since NPV is greater than 0, we have to be increased discount rate. Thus NPV at 13% and discount rate is 4,521. As we discussed, this is a hit and trial. So we are just assuming that, and because at 10% the value is 18,000, so which percentage will put? So we are just putting, as you know that when we are increasing the value, increasing the percentage, the value is decreasing. So the same method when we discuss about the present value, we already discussed this. So we are increasing the value from 10 to 13% and we got the discount rate is 4,521. Is still not 0. It means we need to make some more, increase some more percentage. But still it is greater than 0. We have to be further increase the discount rate. Suppose NPV is 14%, then discount rate is 204. It means it is just reduced. It is come to 204 only from 18,000. So it means NPV at 14%, we have discount rate is 204, but still not 0. So we have to go for one more percentage. NPV at 15% discount rate, but now negative 3,975 in minus. So it means the IRR in between 14 to 15%. But as we saw that we don't have any algebraic formula, so we cannot put the values in the formula and get IRR. So it is just approx value. We can say that at 14%. I will explain here. Since NPV is fairly close to 0 at 14% value of R, therefore IRR is near about 14%. We cannot say that how much exact, but near about 14% we can say in this way. Hope you understand, but don't forget to like and subscribe my videos. As always, you know that we are doing a lot of efforts to making these videos for your understanding. I brought here many things to understand for you. So continue with my videos. Next video will give you more excitement, more good knowledge. Carry on. Be with me always. Thank you.